This would be the perfect sofa actually to specify for a family. It feels quite grand without being too big. I'm Mariah and I'm the co-founder and director of Folk Studio. Today we're styling the Aura sofa in one room with two different looks. The Aura is a modular design that gives you the freedom and flexibility to reconfigure the space as you please, which ultimately changes the feeling of the interior. I think for us at Folk, a lot of our clientele are growing families, and to be able to have the flexibility and freedom of a modular sofa is really appealing for me as a designer. Once I start with a sofa and we understand the brief for the client, we'll then choose the rug, the coffee table and the armchair. And then we can do all of the fun things, which is the accessories. We've kept everything quite tonal. We've kept a lot of the key pieces and really introduced colour through the accessories, like the books and the florals and all of the cushions. The rug is really the frame of the living room. So generally you want about 300 to 400 millimetres on each side of the sofa. That way it'll frame the space really beautifully. The bigger the rug, the better. Some of our clients are movie lovers, they're loungers, they have teenage boys, they have pets. So we really need to understand how they live, and that will really help us narrow down what's the perfect sofa for them. I feel like this size fits in a lot of homes. Often when we see a lot of modular sofa configurations, they're quite large. And I just wanted to show that you can do quite a lot with a sofa this size. People really want to have a chase element to their sofa, but they also want to have a room that they can kind of have family members, friends face them. I love the camel bouclé texture. It's not a flat colour or texture, so it just adds a bit more depth to the space. For me, it's really intuitive. I really choose colours that I think complement one another, but it's more about the feeling actually, rather than going with trend-driven colour schemes. It's usually colours that I'm loving personally, that maybe are reflected in the season or that I'm loving in fashion. A coffee table book is the perfect hack if you don't have the budget to style the space heavily with art or sculptural pieces. You can really introduce a lot of colour through books. We've got the beautiful Yowie Armchair, which is this fluffy fabric. This one adds a little bit of a 70s flair into the space. It's a point of interest. It kind of adds depth, form, and again, another texture. It also is comfortable, so that's a bonus. Look 2, we've used the Teal Lennox, and it's a little bit more playful. And look 2, we wanted to go a little bit bolder and create a scene that felt really fun. I think people often overlook blue for a sofa choice. They often go for green, but blue really does soften spaces, particularly when you have a lot of browns. And then I've paired it with this beautiful oak coffee table, as well as a large scale green rug. I always say start with 3 to 4 colours in your colour scheme, and then you can build off that. The accents are really through the artwork and all of the accessories, as well as the colours used. So we've got an array of different books, florals, fruit, ceramics, and a beautiful Dan Rashford artwork, which really kind of accentuates some of the accent colours that you see in the space. Generally, artwork doesn't really need to match. You just want to have accents, colours that are coming through into the interior. And I love all of the different forms, heights, the different scales here. It feels quite grand, but without being too big. I don't love pattern. Often I stick with block colours because I can actually introduce quite a lot of different colours that way. I think when people look at maximalist interiors, they really love it, but it doesn't feel livable. And often with maximalist interiors, there's a lot of pattern. We kind of have that happy medium, and we kind of soften the interior by using less pattern and more colour. Where we do use pattern is usually through raw materiality like marble and some of the key accessory pieces that bring in and draw in that pattern. You can never have too many cushions. I am a chopper, so I karate chop all my cushions. When you're considering the scale of the room, you can't really go wrong with a modular configuration. You can move it around when you're hosting movie nights, lounging at home. There's so much freedom to this particular sofa, and I think it just really works for a lot of families. This is like the dream sofa. My top 3 takeaways when styling a living room is A, choosing all of the critical pieces first, being the sofa, the rug, then the coffee table. Try and introduce an armchair. I think that that's really important, particularly when you're hosting, so that you can have that face-to-face communication. And consider the scale of the room. It's really important. I think often people really miss this opportunity. They start to throw in pieces that they just love, but they don't consider the size. And modular sofas then allow that freedom and flexibility to kind of grow with our clients. Just means that you can keep restyling your home, and that's always really fun.